the one thing we knew we wanted to do out of Captain America the Winter Soldier was to tell the rest of the story of the search for Bucky Barnes. So, if you remember at the end of that film, the Winter Soldier is loose and his memory starts to come back. We knew that audiences wanted to get the rest of that story. What would happen if Captain America ever caught up to his best friend? At the same time, the Marvel Universe was heading in a direction where the events were getting bigger and bigger and the effects on the world were becoming more obvious. I think the strength was the personal story of friendship between Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes. So, as much as Civil War is the trappings of the film, it's really about Steve making a decision for the first time that's personal over sort of a global, sort of a global version of doing the right thing. And once he does that, once you hook into this idea of Steve Rogers really doing something for himself, it becomes a story that I think, again, is more relatable. And it's that idea of how far will you go to rescue your best friend. It was the movie 42 where he played Jackie Robinson that we really saw both the intensity and the honesty of the character. And that's something, those are qualities that I think we wanted T'Challa to embrace. And Chadwick, once we started talking to him, you get very quickly that he has that as a part of his being. So the way that he attacked the role of T'Challa and the humanity that he brings to that character is incredibly important because it's a character that we know we want to build a whole other franchise on. So we had to be comfortable and confident in the actor that we hired that he could carry a film on his own. Chadwick is a very, very smart actor, and he's somebody who's very dedicated. So he did a ton of his own research into figuring out how to bring T'Challa to life. Yeah, for Tony, I think you've gotten to know that character over 5 films now, so we wanted to do something different. We wanted to challenge him emotionally in a way that he hadn't in any of the Iron Man films and in the Avengers movies. And part of that is forcing him to face his own legacy. You know, this is a man who's built amazing things like the Iron Man armor, but who's also been responsible for things like Ultron. And I think that character, who is so complicated and who is so emotional, to have to face some of the things he's done in the past and answer for them is really compelling. You know, I think at the end of Avengers Age of Ultron, he had decided to be the head of the Avengers full time. He sort of had given up the idea that he would have a private life. But I think there was always an unresolved conflict that we had to answer, which was what would happen if he ever found Bucky Barnes? And this movie very quickly asked the question, where is Steve Rogers' allegiance? Is it to the Avengers, or is it to this guy that he lost 80 years before? And I think setting him on this journey of self-discovery, of figuring out who he is outside of the Captain America suit, is really important.